Nestled between towering mountains lay a valley. A river flowed through its heart. This was the Valley of the Whispering Forge. Here, a renowned blacksmith worked his magic. His name was Ben. Ben had a daughter, Ilara. Ilara loved the forge as much as her father did. From a young age, Ilara helped her father. She learned the secrets of metal and fire. Ilara was small but strong. She had a natural talent. The villagers saw her potential. They also held on to their doubts. This was a hard and dangerous job. Could Ilara truly follow in her father's footsteps? Ben taught Ilara everything he knew. He showed her how to read the heat of the forge. He explained the language of metal. Ilara listened intently. Her small hands gripped the tools with surprising strength. She swung the hammer with precision. The clang of the hammer against metal was music to her ears. Ben's heart swelled with pride. He saw himself in his daughter. Ilara had the heart of a blacksmith. She had the courage to face the fire, and she had the strength to shape her own destiny. But the villagers still whispered. They doubted Ilara's ability to lead the forge. One spring, Ben fell ill. He grew weaker with each passing day. Ilara tended to him with love and care. She tried to be strong, but fear gnawed at her heart. What would she do without her father? Who would teach her the ways of the forge? Ben called Ilara to his side. He cupped her face in his calloused hand. "My brave girl," he whispered. "The forge is yours now. Never doubt your strength. You are the blacksmith's daughter. The fire burns within you too." With those words, Ben breathed his last. Ilara was devastated. She felt lost and alone. The weight of the forge felt heavy on her young shoulders. The villagers offered their condolences, but their words were laced with concern. "She's just a child," they murmured. "How can she manage the forge alone?" Ilara tried to ignore their doubts. She stoked the forge fire. She tried to work, but her heart wasn't in it. The metal felt cold and unforgiving. The hammer felt heavy in her hands. She felt lost without her father's guidance. Section 5. The Warrior's Challenge. One day, a lone warrior rode into the valley. He was tall and strong, with eyes that held the wisdom of many battles. His name was Kale. Kale needed a new sword. He had heard of Ben's craftsmanship. He hoped that Ben's daughter could fulfill his request. Kale saw the doubt in Ilara's eyes. He saw the fear that threatened to consume her. He knew he couldn't just give her an order. He needed to awaken the fire within her. "Little blacksmith," Kale said, his voice deep and resonant. "I need a sword, but more importantly, you need a lesson." Section 6. A lesson in transformation. Kale asked Ilara for 3 things: a carrot, an egg, and some tea leaves. Ilara was confused, but she brought him what he requested. Kale took them to the forge. He filled 3 pots with water and placed them over the fire. In the first pot, he placed the carrot. In the second, the egg. And in the third, the tea leaves. He let the pots simmer over the flames. Ilara watched him, her curiosity growing. What was the warrior trying to teach her? Section 7. Embracing the fire. After a while, Kale removed the pots from the fire. He showed Ilara the carrot. It was soft and mushy. He then cracked the egg. It was hard inside. Finally, he offered Ilara the pot of tea. The water had turned a deep brown. The aroma filled the forge. The fire, Kale explained, affects everything differently. The carrot, once strong, became weak. The egg, once fragile, became hardened. But the tea leaves, they changed the water itself. They embraced the fire and became something new. Section 8. The Forging of Strength. Ilara looked at the pots, her mind racing. She understood Kale's message. She could choose to be like the carrot, letting the heat defeat her, or she could be like the egg, hardening her heart against the pain. But she wanted to be like the tea leaves, embracing the fire, transforming her pain into something strong and beautiful. Ilara took a deep breath. She picked up a piece of metal. The heat from the forge washed over her. But this time she didn't flinch. She felt a surge of determination. She would not let fear control her. She would honor her father's legacy. Section 9. A blade of resilience. Days turned into nights. The rhythmic clang of the hammer echoed through the valley. Ilara worked tirelessly. She hammered, shaped, and quenched the metal. Her movements were precise. Her confidence grew. Finally, the sword was ready. It was a masterpiece. The blade gleamed under the forged light. It was perfectly balanced, strong and sharp. Ilara had poured her grief, her determination, and her love into its creation. This wasn't just a sword, it was a testament to her resilience. Section 10. The Heart of a Blacksmith. Cale returned to the forge. He examined the sword, his eyes widening in appreciation. He had expected a sword, but this was more than that. This was a work of art. He saw Ilara's transformation. He saw the fire that burned brightly within her. "This is extraordinary, Ilara," Cale said, his voice filled with respect. "You have faced the fire and you have emerged stronger. You are a true blacksmith's daughter." Ilara smiled. She was no longer just the blacksmith's daughter. She was a blacksmith in her own right, and she knew with unwavering certainty that the fire within her would never be extinguished.